My family all thought they were going to lose me. So I asked the doctor, I said, how long do I have?
When he was 68 years old, Russ heard the words no one ever wants to hear. You have cancer.
It was such a devastation emotionally to my wife and to my children, but my wife stayed strong for my children. She was there for them, but she was there for me. I think we both felt like we had life to live.
His symptoms started with flu-like symptoms and fatigue. Eventually, he ended up at the emergency room.
I think we knew something was wrong, but because I've been largely healthy throughout my life, I just think we thought there's something, but we'll take care of it. I mean, I think there was an optimism. Never, never dawned in our minds that leukemia was the culprit. Never. We had a doctor come in and basically say, this is what you have. It's very treatable. You're going to be just fine, which really wasn't true, but we didn't know that.
It wasn't just any diagnosis. Russ had a rare subtype of acute myeloid leukemia, or AML, called Acute Myelomonocytic Leukemia, or AMML.
We learned, we were caught flat-footed, knew nothing. I never winced once having cancer. I never cried about it. I just said, okay, what do we got to do?
They went from the emergency room to another hospital, then finally the leukemia specialist at UCLA. Treatment options are more limited, and Russ's health was spiraling down fast.
I vaguely remember her coming and talking with my wife and daughter and I about the possibility of a clinical trial drug, of which I was thoroughly uninitiated. I really didn't have knowledge of what that would be and how that would impact me. That's the first time I heard it, and my family heard it. But it dropped from there. I never heard anything more from her on that for several days um, until it actually got in motion.
Russ learned that there was a way to treat not just AML, but his AML. His doctors would test for biomarkers to figure out unique features in his leukemia cells. Turns out Russ has the NPM1 biomarker. It's in about 30% of adults with AML. This meant he had access to a therapy targeted more to his leukemia through a clinical trial.
I never wavered at once we started, I never wavered with being a part of it. This drug was just developed just a few months before my diagnosis. My family took hold, and when they explained it to me, I said, "Fine, let's do it." And I remember the two people who were running the trials for UCLA coming in and handing me the paperwork, and I signed it, laying in my bed. The greatest source of joy in my life is my family. So them caring for me, very humbling. It was the family side of this strong motivation to live, strong. I mean, I was very focused on, I'm going to beat this and I'm going to have life. And my family was certainly the primary inspiration for that. I think the clinical trial for me has always been a very positive point of reflection. Clinical trials saved my life. I'm here with you today because of a clinical trial drug. I encourage you, if there's an availability of a trial drug, do research, talk with your doctors, your caregivers, and seriously look at it as a means by which you embrace treatment that is the absolute best for you. And I would admit, I have a bias. I mean, the clinical drug saved my life, and I'm a proponent, but every person's different.
He wants others facing cancers like AML to learn more about their own disease. In his case, the NPM1 gene mutation, which opened up more treatment options.
I actually have this sheet of paper that this a woman doctor, she wrote down the mutation. She wrote down everything and clarified it. I still keep the piece of paper on my desk, and so yes, she had done that and was grateful that she did. because that was the that was the first time I understood anything really. But that sheet of paper is special to me because it was she took the time on her own initiative to write it up for me and to make it clear what was happening to the degree a layperson could understand it.
Russ wants simpler language between doctors and patients so people like him and his family can better speak up for themselves.
There's the rare doctor that really makes it so simple, and that's what genius is. Genius is it has the genius has tremendous knowledge, but then can digest it and break it down so anyone can understand. And I think that a lot of doctors just don't like that part of having to communicate with patients because they got to do what they got to do. They're saving lives. They kind of trivialize it, and it creates for a real disconnect and point of frustration for patients and their families. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying that's I respect their learning, I respect their work, their time, but there just is a lot of that functional disconnect that doesn't land with patients. That's what's great when people follow up.
And when he couldn't follow up, his family did. Advocacy to him is speaking up for the best care possible, and it may not always come from the patient.
I was an advocate to a point. My wife and my daughter were also advocates. There was a lot that happened that was simply we were trusting the wisdom and the experience of the doctors involved. Your life is not your own. You can fight that, you can hate that, you can, submit and surrender to that. I surrendered.
Surrendering to Russ has meant letting go of what's not in his control and advocating for what is. For him, that advocacy from himself and from others, including his doctor to learn more about his diagnosis, completely changed his life.
That's why I try to savor each day and enjoy it for what it is. My primary oncologist has said to me, he just simply says, every day you don't relapse is more likely that you won't. So as it relates to the future, I just kind of live on that one. Just okay. I mean, I don't have anything. I don't have a bad day. I never have bad days. People say that kind of thing, and I don't even get it. It's like, but I've never been a big one for bad. I don't come home and say I've had a bad day. I'm totally cancer free. That's a good day, you know. Whatever else happens in it is icing on the cake.
And his cherry on top? How this painful period deepened his connection with his wife.
Our marriage and our relationship is in one of the best places it's ever been in our entire lives. I mean, it's a bond created through suffering that is real and absolutely unbreakable.
As a thyroid cancer survivor, I thank Russ so much for sharing his story. If this video was meaningful for you, we've queued up another video here, a playlist here, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you for being a part of the Patient Story community. You're not alone.